Oh shit, I forgot. I forgot to open. I was so focused on make sure stream set up. I forgot to literally open Fire Alpaca. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. Today we're just gonna be doing some art practice. Right now we're gonna be working on drawing background characters. This This is gonna be interesting for me because I usually just draw like illustrations of just either one or two characters. I try to do illustrations of two characters in the same picture. It's more it's more complicated than uh anyone would give people credit for. It's sure you gotta think about, okay, what's the position of this character? Okay, the light picture, stuff like that. What's their pose? Of what the character looks like. Adding like more than one in the same picture, like, wow, this is more difficult than difficult. And props to anyone who manages to managed to overcome it. Anyway, we knew. Okay, there we go. Oh, neck crack. Oh, anywho. I'm gonna read this out. Like familiar alphabet audiences associate certain characters with certain settings. Until you have a character with themselves as a skill character, then it becomes identify himself. But the character must always remain But the character must always remain prominent. Done by paying attention to where place character in scenes. Kitchen, food, breakfast, machine, salt, caramel, chips. All right. Kitchens are built with rectangles of varying sizes. Table side, from yeah, hips level table there. Narrow in the perspective. The table is chest level. Okay. Here we go. Da 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 da. Alrighty. Hold on, one real quick. Yeah, because when I was setting up everything, huh? Anywho. Anyway, let's get started on this. We're gonna be doing basically not going to be putting any color onto this. Yeah. Anywho, alright. Alright. And watch this and
Walgreens is one of the biggest pharmacy chains in the world. Yet, over the past decade, its market cap has fallen 90%, or about $100 billion in market cap. To make matters worse, in 2024, it announced plans to cut 1,200 stores. What happened? As it turns out, it's not just Walgreens or one big scandal, but something much deeper. The entire industry is going through a metamorphosis, which might make things worse for all of us.
right now we need.
To understand what's really happening, we have to understand the mechanics behind pharmacies. In the US, there are two pharmacy titans, Walgreens and CVS. To most people, they might as well be the same company, gigantic chains of slightly more expensive pharmaceuticals. But there is an important difference, which explains why Walgreens is dying. Walgreens was seeing slow and steady growth from $12 billion in 1996 to $77 billion in 2014, but they wanted to grow bigger. So in 2014, they completed a merger with another gigantic pharmacy, Alliance Boots in Europe. The new Walgreens Boots Alliance was now a titan, from a market cap of $57 billion to over $100 billion. But after the merger, even with much more revenue, things didn't look so good. Earnings initially doubled from $3 billion to $6 billion, but then they quickly began to decline. Then in the 2020s, they went into freefall. Now, let's pivot to CVS, who had a very similar path until 2006, where they acquired a company called Caremark. Not a pharmacy, not a health insurance company, but a pharmacy benefit manager. This will become important later. Then, in the late 2010s, they began to ramp this up. They acquired the health insurance company Aetna in 2018 for about $69 billion. Then, Signify Health in 2023 for $8 billion, a home health and care coordination company. And then Oak Street Health, who provided primary care clinics, for $10 billion. CVS had big plans and very different to Walgreens. Now, let's jump forward to today. Things are pretty bad in the US pharmacy industry. But how bad? Well, looking at Walgreens' revenue, it doesn't seem bad at all. After all, it reached a record high of $150 billion in 2025. But let's look closer. Revenue is still growing slowly, But Walgreens' profits have gone cliff diving. $7 billion in profit in 2021 to a $4.6 billion loss in 2022, and by 2024, a loss of $13 billion. Its share price has dropped 90%, and in 2024, it announced plans to cut 1,200 stores, including 500 in 2025. But what's even stranger is how different this is to CVS. CVS has stayed profitable, and despite some drops, has stayed far above the red, with $10 billion in profit in 2025. Yet, between 2022 and 2025, CVS also closed 900 stores, and that trend is continuing.
And Walgreens is on track to close 450 locations this year. The pharmacy giant says it's part of a larger plan to close 1,200 underperforming stores over the next 3 years.
What's going on? Walgreens and CVS are closing stores left and right, yet only Walgreens is dying. What's happening? There's something we need to address first. Retail has changed, and that includes your over-the-counter or even prescription medication.
What if it was this easy to get your medication? Like, never wait in a line, delivered to your door?
For starters, Amazon is actually just copying CVS. In 2004, it acquired Eckerd Health Services and began using its mail-order system for pharmacy medication. CVS has been way ahead of the game, but mail ordering isn't even the biggest part. To find out, let's take a quick look at the two giants' financials. In its Q2 2025 financial statement, Walgreens' retail pharmacy segment made $30.4 billion in revenue. That figure is 78.8% of Walgreens' revenue, almost 80% from retail pharmacy alone, and just 5.6% from healthcare at $2.2 billion. What's the problem? Well, when we compare Walgreens to CVS, the picture becomes clearer. In CVS's latest quarterly statement, they stated pharmacy revenue was $31.9 billion, just slightly bigger than Walgreens, yet it was only 34% of their total revenue. Healthcare benefits, aka health insurance, was $34.8 billion at 36.8%, and health services was the largest at 45.9% at $43 billion. Walgreens is extremely reliant on retail and the old retail pharmacy model, but CVS pivoted. This is where that vague health services comes in. It's almost half their revenue, but it's not retail prescriptions or health insurance. What is it? Well, this is Caremark, CVS's Pharmacy Benefit Manager, or PBM, and this is huge, but also very confusing, so bear with me, because once we uncover this, we see what's really happening. This is how pharmacies work. It starts with drug manufacturers like Pfizer, who set a price of $500 for something like Lipitor. The wholesaler buys it from Pfizer at a discount of $300. And when you fill your Lipitor prescription, you hand over $25. Earlier, the pharmacy bought that bottle from the wholesaler for about $300 though. So, how do pharmacies make profit? Well, they don't technically go to the wholesaler. They submit the claim to the PBM. They set the recommended list of drugs that insurers and pharmacies look at. So they say to the drug maker, if you want your drug on my preferred list, send me a cut after every bottle sells. This is called a rebate, and this is where the real money is. Your insurer pays the PBM the original price of $500 and a pharmacy dispensing fee of $10 minus the $25 you paid, so $485. So how do PBMs make any money here? Well, that's where the rebate comes in. Behind the scenes, Pfizer pays the PBM the $200 difference, which they pocket. They'll also typically demand a bit back from the pharmacy, saying they overpaid like $50. This is a clawback. So Walgreens here, from the $510 minus $50 minus the original $300 price they paid, makes about $160 in profit. It's a very complicated process with a lot of parties. You, your insurer, the pharmacy, the drug maker, the manufacturer, the wholesaler, and the PBM. But the PBM is what matters here. They don't make the drug, they don't sell the drug, they don't even insure you, yet they make possibly the biggest margin here. Walgreens has a pharmacy with some other services, but CVS is a pharmacy and a PBM. In fact, CVS owns the biggest PBM in the US with 34% market share. When they do the whole process of rebates, they get to pocket all of it. Walgreens only takes a smaller margin right at the end, but this is getting worse. PBMs have slowly pushed generic drugs instead of named brands like regular paracetamol. In fact, now 90% of prescriptions in the US are generic brands. Why? They pay much less for them, yet can charge insurers almost the same amount and keep a bigger margin. They get a higher rebate and it's cheaper for the customer. But then there's the pharmacy. Walgreens and the other pharmacies have been getting squeezed.
It's a
Since
dangerous
they buy generic brands
slippery
much
slope.
cheaper, they make much less. But somehow, PBMs still make a lot more, and they can still perform clawback fees even on generics.
Okay.
Margins are getting smaller and smaller, and that's the difference here. CVS insulated itself not just by adapting, but by becoming the ecosystem. It saw pharmacies as the doorway to make more money, not as the entire business. Healthcare, PBMs,
I also had
pharmacies,
difficulty on
primary care, home care,
the actual
CVS has all of it.
background
Walgreens,
stuff.
however, went all in on the retail pharmacy side. It was working, but they weren't diversified much at all. Almost 80% of revenue is from retail pharmacy alone. And now, margins are so small that many pharmacies aren't even making enough to cover the cost of staying open. But somehow, it still gets even worse. As of 2024, nearly 30% of all drugstores in the US have closed compared to a decade ago. Many Walgreens are closing stores due to low margins, yet stores are also facing massive costs elsewhere. In 2014, California passed Proposition 47. Essentially, shoplifting and theft crimes of goods under $950 would be a misdemeanor rather than a felony. Over time, this led to crime growing in California, but it wasn't until after the pandemic, when police staffing dropped, where things got particularly bad. The America First Policy Institute reported that California retailers face an onslaught of theft that threatens their economic viability, places workers in dangerous situations, and damages Californians' sense of safety in their communities. Fresno, Los Angeles, and San Francisco saw commercial burglary increase by 38%, 29%, and 26% respectively from 2019 to 2022. Over the same period, Alameda County and Orange County witnessed a 65% and 54% increase respectively in commercial burglary. Stores began to lock products behind glass doors or even chain freezers.
And this was bizarre, something I'd never seen before. This is just more icing on the cake, telling us that rampant crime has become a regular part of life.
So typical that in the 30 minutes we were at this Walgreens, we watched 3 people, including this man, steal.
Did that guy pay? Did that guy pay? He didn't pay.
But it still wasn't enough. Thieves can also just ask for certain products and take them once the shelf is unlocked while the employee can't stop them.
Customers also point to rampant theft at some locations. We captured this video of a man walking out of the Geary Walgreens with a suitcase full of beer and food that workers inside were saying he hadn't paid for.
The cost of theft for many stores was too high, and many began to close, including Walgreens. But beneath all of this is another massive consequence.
This is one of the 12 San Francisco Walgreens that are set to shut their doors for good in February, and customers tell me stores like this are neighborhood anchors. San Franciscans throughout the city are learning their local Walgreens is one of those closing its doors for good next month.
The closures across the US, and especially in California, are creating pharmacy deserts. This is an area devoid of pharmacies, and this is a big problem. Even though shipping prescriptions is possible, a lack of pharmacies isn't good for a community. One study found that nationally, 15.8 million or 4.7% of all people in the United States live in pharmacy
Why is it
deserts.
dotted?
The lack of drugstores makes it harder for people to access essential medications, vaccines, and health advice. Seniors who need the most medication need to walk further to access care. Those in pharmacy
Why the fuck
deserts
is it
have a
dotted when I
3%
do
drop
that?
in medication adherence and suffer worse health, and have 2.7% higher emergency visits.
Is it because of this
as you
line?
would guess, these stores aren't closing in high-income areas with multiple pharmacies.
Oh.
Instead, pharmacy deserts are more common when more than 1 in 5 people live below the poverty line, or the average household makes a lot less
Why the
than
fuck is
nearby
this
areas.
dotted?
The healthcare industry has changed. On one side, you've got trusted mom-and-pop pharmacies. On the other, retail giants like Amazon, Walmart, and Costco, who run pharmacies as a side business. And stuck in the middle are chains like Walgreens and CVS, built for a world that doesn't seem to exist anymore. Yet, it seemed like somehow CVS saw this coming. They pivoted so they became part of the entire system, not just the stores. Whether that system is good is another question. Walgreens, however, dug their hole deeper with a gigantic acquisition of more pharmacies. Unfortunately, the trends didn't move in their favor, and now they're doing everything they can to survive. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Why the fuck is this dotted? What the fuck is going on? Oh, this fixed it. Why the fuck is this dotted? Why? What the fuck did I accidentally click on? Okay, that works, but that just... Okay. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck happened. Okay, then what the fuck happened? I see. Don't worry, chat. Some tables are warped. Warping your minds, that is. Hold on. Some tables are warped, chat, but some of them are warping your minds as well. I find another video. All right. Also, right before I start streaming, here you go. Here you go. So right before I start, oh come on, what the fuck is going on now? Okay, so having trouble loading YouTube video.
Okay, so there's been a massive situation going on at 𝙂𝙗.
Oh, come on. Thank you. Alright, here we go. So this is what I've been talking about. I was talking about before I'm in trouble.
I was actually alerted to this like 16 minutes after it happened. Thank you to someone in my Discord, I think it was Deaf Disciples or whatever.
So basically, what I was about to say is, apparently, Ironmouse is suddenly quitting or leaving 𝙂𝙗 because 𝙂𝙗 is refusing to pay out the money that is owed, not to her, but to a found the blah 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 immune. I had this pulled up. I literally had this pulled up. So basically, she claims that the agency owes her basically a significant amount of funds, as well as over 500K to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. So she was doing a fundraiser, and 𝙂𝙗 says, "Yep, we're not gonna pay this out." So 𝙂𝙗 greenlit the fundraiser, and then suddenly they don't want to pay it out. Which is all kinds of fucked up. This is literally a company-sized version of the completionist situation, but worse. What the fuck is going on with this?
Pinged me about this because this is absolutely huge and it's crazy.
It's lit. Oh my goodness. Can I not play this?
It seems like we have another scummy VTuber company on our hands here, and it's 𝙂𝙗. And the latest news is that Ironmouse has
This is why I never
𝙂𝙗,
trust corporate, never
which is
gonna
crazy.
be
Obviously, over the past couple of days, we've been seeing
never
seeing other
joining
people
an
leave.
agency.
For example, like Zentraya, who's also had a very big part, you know.
Alongside just being the most self-sufficient VTuber, started I think soon gonna be starting to learn 3D modeling. I'm doing a basic still teaching myself the absolute basics of Blender, and I'm not sure if you I want to do Unity. Do I want to add Unity to the mix? I know Unity and Blender go well together, but like the version of Blender I want to use is version 4.4. I want to stick with that version for as long as possible, but I know Unity will end it. Companies they'll support a version of like brain. What is it? What was I saying? Fuck. My brain literally collapsed halfway through the sentence. And I literally said, "Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense." So Man, I should actually get Unity. Because I want to learn 3D modeling so I can make my own VTuber models. Not only for like streaming, but also for one day for VR chat as well. Oh, fuck you.
𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖 and also people like Giga as well, who have also left. Now, I don't know if any of that was to do with this situation that is going on, but what is going on is terribly serious. It's serious. Obviously, Ironmouse put out to my community, I love all of you dearly and thank you. This is a tweet that she put out recently after she put out this video called Why I Left 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖. I definitely recommend you guys go.
Oh, she actually... we are gonna watch that, because holy shit.
I am leaving 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖. Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖.
Yeah, exactly. Also, so because of this, 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖 can very well be under government scrutiny and be legally liable for charity fraud. That alone is tons of levels of fucked up. As for Ironmouse, I'm most likely case that she's going to have her legal team sue the ever-living shit out of 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖 for the amount they owed and for misleading her.
I know that this is a lot, and it's very important for me to be honest with all of you.
Yeah.
I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now, I have been instructed by my attorney to wait for more of the legal procedure to unfold. So one day, I will be able to tell you the full story. But for now,
shit.
I just need to let you know that I will no longer be a part of 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖. If you give me a moment of your time, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know for a lot of people right now that this might be the first time you're ever watching me. I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. I was very lonely due to the fact that I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID. I basically have a low to near non-functioning immune system, which means I get sick a lot, and it caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life. So then I found streaming, and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online, because I honestly couldn't ever leave my room. I never really expected to grow an audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. I just thought that I would stream to, 5 to 10 people and just hang out from time to time, make some friends, play games, and just continue on with my life. But unfortunately, I was too scared to stream with my face. So a friend of mine recommended that I try an app called FaceRig that would allow me to use an anime avatar to stream. And that's how I started VTubing. It took me a while to take it seriously and even begin to think about maybe being able to grow a community and even make this a career. I think I really started to take it seriously around the time when I was approached to join 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖, and it was through 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖 that I was able to grow into the Ironmouse that I am today. When I was approached in 2020 and asked to join 𝙂𝙬𝙧𝙖, it seemed like a good idea, but I honestly did not know if I could ever be a corporal VTuber because I felt like I just couldn't. In my mind, I saw myself as unhireable, which is why streaming worked for me. I had no boss, no strict rules, I had no hours, no expectations. It was all up to me, and due to the fact that I have lived my life chronically ill and being unable to do much of anything, I just felt like there was no way that anyone would ever take me or want me. For a while, I was struggling to make a decision because I was afraid about my anonymity and afraid about trusting people because
I understand that.
I felt like every time I put my trust in people, it always ends in grief for me. So I was worried about expectations and a million and one other things. But I ultimately decided to join 𝙂𝙀. It really pains me that I am unable to fully explain why I am leaving. But for right now, here's what I am allowed to share with you. I would always be told how important I was for the company, and I was always told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody.
Corporate
I felt
gaslighting.
responsible for staff
Hey, Sky.
and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't do this, and if I did...
Oh, hey, Sky. Basically, right before I started streaming, I got the news that Ironmouse is leaving 𝙂𝙀 because of two main reasons. One, 𝙂𝙀 committed charity fraud. Basically, 𝙂𝙀 greenlit a a fundraiser Ironmouse wanted to do for Deficiency Foundation. And then once that fundraiser was complete, 𝙂𝙀 said, "Yeah, 𝙂𝙀 basically apparently they said they were going to pay out, but they did not. So 𝙂𝙀 was 𝙂𝙀 is very well going to be scrutinized by the government and be liable to pay out funds due. And as for Ironmouse, she was never paid. Basically, they also committed wage fraud as well. Not only charity fraud, but 𝙂𝙀 also committed wage fraud.
stay. I was hurting everybody, and I was destroying everybody's life. But this didn't feel right with me, and I began to feel extremely uncomfortable. As my viewers know, privacy has always been one of my biggest concerns. I've had a lot of scary experiences in my life, so one amazing thing for me was the fact that 𝙂𝙀 handled all my payments, and it meant that I never had to give out any of my personal information, so that was always a blessing to me. As time went on, I decided that I wanted to try to start pulling out my remaining funds because I wanted to start taking over my own finances. This is what led me to this point. Throughout the years, Connor and I have raised around $4 million for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The majority of the money raised is through Tiltify at events like the Cyclothon, the charity auction, and other miscellaneous events that we've had. However, because of the success of my first subathon, I decided to donate half the earnings of my following two subathons to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The first time I tried this, it worked great. Over 200,000 people supported me, and because of that, we raised over 329,000.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they they're also committing tax fraud as well. Because with wage theft and wage theft also, with the wage theft thing, oh, that's already serious. But I wouldn't be surprised if they also committed tax fraud as well. Alright, there we go.
$350 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Because the money came from my Twitch revenue instead of a Tiltify link, it required 𝑉Shoujo to make the donation on my behalf. They promptly sent the payment, and the subathon was a huge success. So I decided to do it again the next year. My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting...
It's also because shitty behavior like this from companies is a reason why I never want to join a VTube agency. And just generally wanting to be as self-sufficient as possible. I'm also considering streaming me learning 3D modeling, so people can see me make my own models. If anything really, I would rather found my own, not an agency, but my own group, a VTuber group. Sure, you're gonna have managers, tax attorneys, legal team, all the whole 9 yards, but I would strictly tell the managers, hey, you're only here to manage the funds and stuff like that. And I would personally hire an auditor to look into the company, and the auditor tells me, hey, there's funds missing here. Then I would prompt and investigation, but make sure anyone who is committing any kind of fraud under my watch, I want to make sure that they are caught by surprise, that they are caught off guard. This is why so many people have trust issues. Jesus fucking Christ.
Getting over 300,000 subscribers and breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked 𝑉Shoujo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, 𝑉Shoujo has not paid the charity. The Immune Deficiency Foundation means the world to me. Connor and I have both spent a ton of energy, time, and resources raising money for charity. And we're both so proud to be able to say that we've raised nearly $4 million for charity. We almost always raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. They help people with primary immune deficiency diseases, or PI, which are inherited disorders where a part of the body's immune system is missing or doesn't function properly, which makes people like me more prone to infection, and this includes over 450 different conditions. The Immune Deficiency Foundation is a charity that is near and dear to my heart and has a particular significance in my life. When my health first started getting really bad, the Immune Deficiency Foundation helped me immensely. When I really had nowhere else to turn, I was terrified. I was lonely and I was confused. I honestly didn't really know what was going on, and I never ever want anyone else to go through that. This entire situation has broken me. I just wanted to do something good and to give back to a community that helped me. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As much as I would like to continue to talk about this, unfortunately, I can't. So, to recap, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the Immune Deficiency Foundation is owed over $500,000 from 𝘂𝙀. I really wish that I could tell you more, but right now, I have been advised to wait for legal proceedings. As of right now, I am an independent VTuber. I am at a loss of what to do right now. I'm kind of processing everything. I'm very sad and very confused. Once again, I want to apologize to the Immune Deficiency Foundation and to my community who has shown so much support to me. I also wanted to say that
She
all
shouldn't
the
have to apologize with what's
money
not her
made
fault.
from this video will go towards the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, I really haven't had much time to process this. But below the video in the description box is a link to a donation fund for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thankfully, any donations made through Tiltify go directly to the charity. That link is also there if you've heard about this and would like to support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Sometime this month, I plan on doing a special live stream in order to raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I hope to have a ton of friends joining me, and hopefully there'll be a lot of singing and a lot of fun and just a day full of happiness. I just honestly really want to show that after all of this, that VTubing is a force for good. So thank you guys so much for all the support, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And once again, I want to say that
I want to
am
directly link it
truly sorry.
for anyone who wants to donate.
Bye-bye.
And as for I also want to directly link it to this stream here as well. There we go. I'm also going to be linking it to Twitch chat as well. Going to donate. And Kick will also get it. As the video itself. And there you go. Feel free to donate. Twitch chat itself. There we go. I myself do not have the money to donate, but hopefully someone does have the money to donate. Let's see here. I want to double check. All right. All right. All right. BG. Table. There. There we go. I feel very horrible for not correct, Ironmouse. She doesn't deserve to be treated like that. I wonder if Mudahar has already or Charlie. Not yet. They both haven't covered it yet, but that is fucked up. That is fucked up. I don't understand. How could oh my god. This is literally the completionist situation, but on a corporate level, and it's somehow worse. That's how bad this is.
Okay everyone, so welcome to the channel. This video we have to talk about the censorship that's happening right now with card payment companies. We're talking MasterCard, we're talking Visa, and the non-profit group called Collective Shout, right? This group of people effectively...
I'm not surprised that Visa and MasterCard are pushing for more censorship in video games. Although they should really stay away, because we will one day find a way to bite back. Not just fight back, but bite, as with a B. It's just like fucking god. And this has been happening for a long time. Not just with video games, but with pretty much anything. And this is very reminiscent to the case with Flipper Zero. On the government blocking shipments of it. Also, but as well as banks everywhere is blocking blocking anyone from purchasing it. Luckily, I got mine before all that happened. I pretty much I have custom firmware on it, This is I have a this one the customer I have is basically privacy based, and it will not connect to anything unless it is physically verified through one, connecting it to a phone via the charger, or two, like it will not like I pretty sure this is programmed in a way no access will be given unless it is plugged in to a phone that was that was verified with, and then after that, I'm able to use it. I also the reason why I what is it? Alongside with the YubiKey, I also use the Flipper Zero as a security key. Because of how expensive. I give credit YubiKey because YubiKey base as fuck with their security. Unfortunately, older models now have a vulnerability where you can literally emulate the security key. Holy fuck. So hopefully the newer models don't have that issue anymore, at least for now.
They want, from their point of view, to control, effectively to ban anything that they consider inappropriate from entertainment, effectively, right? They want to be the new voice under the guise of avoiding sexploitation or effectively content which is abusive, as you can see here, right, on Steam. Just most recently, for example, were really shouting and winning because after a successful campaign and over 70,000 petitions to get rape simulation game No Mercy pulled from gaming platform Steam, I mean, honestly, this was like kind of their fault. I mean, why would you put that game on Steam? I mean, common sense, right? But anyway, after that, they discovered almost 500 other games depicting these sort of things. Now, there is a problem here because we have some other evidences which show that this censorship is going a bit crazy. So, in the recent post, look at this one here. This is from Grooms. Let me just go to this one here. Yesterday, Vice requested specific details from Collective Shout on Steam games that, per the organization, depict child abuse as of yet. The group has not clarified which games portray this subject matter and how. As this reporter covered yesterday, it seems incredibly unlikely that any adult Steam games depict underage characters in these scenarios. Valve previously pulled a visual novel over a hidden, inaccessible file on an 18 scene with a character that Valve considered underage, even though the game's publisher denied the claim. So then what happens, the following is that the payment processing companies right now, so Steam has changed its rules effectively, and now in Steam you cannot add any more of these adult games because it may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet network providers, in particular certain kinds of adult-only content.
You know what else is fucked up? Is that the fact that payment processor can literally block you from purchasing something that they don't approve of, regardless if it's beneficial or not. Whether it's beneficial security-wise, privacy-wise, or whatever-wise. And I know that the term buying power usually means your ability to buy something. Yes, It literally means your ability to buy something. But what gets lost in translation is that the ability to buy something is that you can afford it. What people fail to realize is also the banks have power to just outright block you from getting something that you want, regardless if it's mundane, or or the government ends up giving you a questionable look. Hopefully that questionable look ends up being, oh, there's actually nothing wrong with this, and not oh, we need to get a warrant on this person immediately.
So of course you would say, okay, fine, but like, is this, that's not a problem, right? Well, it is a problem. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that's how censorship starts. That is how censorship becomes more and more and more. You see, these people will not stop here. The next step is going to be to censorship any sort of game which has unrealistic body proportions, for example. Next one is going to be to censorship any game which depicts characters in video games that are not fully inclusive. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, once you do this and you start pushing your censorship in video games like to no end, there's literally nobody stopping you, and that is the problem. We have an issue here, guys. Collective Shout feminist group open letter to payment processors. As you can see here, they have admitted a responsibility for censorship with payment processors for Steam and potentially other platforms. Yeah, that's right, exposed. That's right, feminist group behind Steam censorship also shields PDF files. That's right, crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, just look at this, right? It's just ridiculous. Steam is extremely biased towards anything anime. It's even worse than Google Apple. I mean, yeah, Lost Goddess is fine, but the Blue Archive is a problem, right? I mean, that's the thing, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, they just, for some reason, Australia has a huge issue with anime, right, stuff, but not with, like, realistic stuff, which is just weird, right? It's just weird. They want to also ban porn on X, apparently, which is interesting also as well, as you can see here. So they want to control effectively what people have access online to, right? Yeah, crazy stuff, as you can see here, right? As you have here. So yeah, I mean, there's, at the end of the day, right, I mean, of course I support the fact that we should never have games, we should never ever have games on Steam which have any sort of abuse of characters. Of course, that's 100% true, but at the same time we have a problem now with this, because it is activism from feminist pro-censorship organization Collective Shout targeting payment processors forces Steam to update their policies to censor and remove hundreds of sexual video games. That's right, man. Yeah, that's right. Pathetic censorship supporting losers. I hope Visa and MasterCard get punished for demanding games to be removed from Steam and other gaming stores. Thankfully, people like 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 are bringing voice to what is happening. Yeah, that's right. Crazy stuff, man. 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 calls out payment processor monopolistic censorship after Steam latest update. One of the biggest unchecked cartels right now. Regulation is needed. And that's right. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, that is the truth, right? Payment processor monopolistic censorship is one of the biggest cartels right now. Regulation is needed to either break up these companies or guarantee a degree of service. It is not a free market when every company operates collectively. So that's the thing, like, every single company has to bow down to Visa and MasterCard and American Express, because if they don't bow down to them, they cannot make business, which means effectively that in the long term, these companies will be subject to what they say. Steam games get erased because of Visa and MasterCard censorship. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Visa Gold, man. They came for Japan to censor anime and manga, because this happened before. Remember, in Japan they actually censored these Visa companies. They censored manga and anime in 2024, certain manga and certain animes, because they said they're not wholesome enough, basically, right? and now they come for gaming on Steam with controversial themes. Hopefully this is enough for this censorship problem to hit the mainstream for coverage this time. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? But yeah, Vice wrote an article about Collective Shout, the group behind Steam's recent payment processor update. The article dives into the games that the group targeted in the past and present, which includes GTA 5 and Detroit Become Human. I mean, that is crazy, right? The group behind Steam's censorship policies have powerful allies and targeted popular games with outlandish claims. One of its allies believes 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙀 should be banned from Steam. I mean, that's the thing, right? So when you have these people, when you have these companies which are basically saying, well, we want to effectively control the narrative. Let's see if we can find this article, because that'll be really cool if we can find this article on Vice. So just for your information, the main article was actually taken down from Vice. It was taken down because they did not want people to know that this particular activist organization is working very dirtily, right? Yes, the radical, says here, I mean, the radical feminist organization has taken responsibility for changes to Steam's payment processing that resulted in the removal of various adult games, more than 500. With 81 titles that the group still wants delisted from Valve's storefront, as concerned consumers have dug into Collective Shout history as to better understand its future plans. Many have missed a key aspect hiding in the public eye. Collective Shout has the backing of several prominent anti-porn groups. Okay, let's go with this. We have here the following. One organization wants 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 banned, another hates the dancing Anka meme. It's like, so basically you just want to erase culture, you just want to erase culture and just basically mold society based on your views of how society should be.
Alright, there we go.
In 2018, they targeted a series of visual novels on Steam, briefly threatening the removal of these status on Valve's digital storefront. Crazy man. In 2022, 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 Cry argued in a new post that online searches for video games, Fortnite and Pokemon lead children to graphic sexual content. The article proceeds to criticize the viral Animal Crossing New Horizons inspired Uncan Zone dancing meme for using a character from a popular children's video game. The phrasing is misleading. New Horizons was actually most popular.
What the fuck? Bruh. Bruh. It's at 360p. 360. Bruh. What the fuck? Oh yes, finally, Charlie made a video on it. Wait for it to load a bit. All right. Can I load anything, please?
There's a topic I cover from time to time that always seems to ruffle some feathers and get people squirming in their chairs in anger, because I have less than kind things to say about some of the biggest players in the industry. But I just can't help myself. I can't bite my tongue on it. I'm like Winnie the Pooh poking a beehive because I'm addicted to the honey inside. And in this case, that honey is vindication. For a while now, I have bah-humbugged VTuber agencies. I've seen a lot of the contracts that some of the top talent were locked into with these organizations, and they are extraordinarily corrupt. I think the agencies in this space are exploitative, and they treat their talent more like prisoners. It is unbelievable the depths of greed that these agencies in the VTuber space have succumbed to. But before I dive deeper into the spaghetti and the meatballs on my disdain for VTuber agencies in the industry, I would like to give you the catalyst for why I'm talking about it again today. It's because Ironmouse just made a really sad video about why she's leaving 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀. 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 being another huge player in the VTuber space. They are a massive agency that's represented some of the top talent.
Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀.
For those that don't know who Ironmouse is, she is one of the biggest streamers on Twitch in terms of subscribers. She even broke the all-time subscriber record, and she has a primary immunodeficiency disease. She has CVID. So she does a lot of charitable work for this organization, and apparently she's just discovered that 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 hasn't fully paid what they owed her personally, and they haven't paid the money that they owe to the charitable foundation that she was fundraising for, something that she does often, but 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 is required in this process because they handle her money in certain cases, which is not uncommon in the space. Like, I'm gonna get deeper into like a lot of things with VTuber agencies that I've tiptoed around quite a bit in the past, but I want to like fully go into the weeds of it here. But let me just go ahead and explain where that number's coming from, the $500,000 owed to charity that 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 still hasn't paid.
They promptly sent the payment, and the subathon was a huge success. So I decided to do it again the next year. My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting over 300,000 subscribers and breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀 to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 has not paid the charity.
So in a nutshell, Ironmouse ran a subathon. It was extremely successful and raised a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 did pay it out the first time around, but when she came back for the second time the following year, it was even bigger. It broke records, and it raised over $500,000 that were supposed to go to the Immune Deficiency Foundation that has still not been paid out to the charitable organization to this day, according to Ironmouse. Now, I've seen a little bit of confusion, people wondering why would 𝙂𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 even be handling that money in the first place? Why wouldn't it just come directly from Ironmouse since it's her Twitch? Well, that's where you get into the really stinky territory where in a lot of cases these agencies they handle the finances of the talent. Like, they put their grubby paws on it before the talent does. So it's not uncommon in the space for the agreement between talent and agency to have the agency directly handle like their Twitch subs and their Twitch revenue and their Twitch ads, that kind of thing. And in the full video, Ironmouse goes deeper into this, so I highly encourage you to check out the full thing for the entire scoop. But in her case specifically, that was actually kind of appealing to her because then she would be able to stay even more private because she really values her anonymity. So having 𝙂𝙀 involved in that process was actually kind of a big deal to her. And for previous fundraising through Tiltify, it wasn't a problem, but when it came to the subathon money, since it was going through Twitch subs and everything, it meant 𝙂𝙀 was going to be involved in this process, and the first time it was fine, it apparently went off without issue, but this time, when the money was even higher, well, some kind of screws must have went loose over there at the 𝙂𝙀 headquarters. I guess that shit just fucking burst into flames or something, and they just haven't got around to it. They're still putting out some fires, and they'll get to it any day now. 𝙂𝙀 would be responsible for donating that money on her behalf, an obligation that they still haven't fulfilled all this time later, according to Ironmouse. It's diabolical, withholding over $500,000 to charity, and also withholding money that Ironmouse is allegedly owed as well. And what's even crazier is how unsurprised I am by it. Now, full disclosure, I didn't know too much about 𝙂𝙀's inner workings. That was one of the few agencies I wasn't super privy to on like the behind the scenes of. But I'd always heard good things, but I always had skepticism because of how the industry functions at the agency level from the other ones I know. And this kind of dirty, scummy, greedy business is just so standard for these agencies in the space. It is sickening. Now, 𝙂𝙀 is going through big turbulence right now. They're losing some of their top talent, like even before Ironmouse's video. About a month ago, they made a post about how 𝙂𝙚 was going to be departing 𝙂𝙀. And then just 48 hours later, they announced 𝙂𝙚 would also be leaving 𝙂𝙀, one of their original members. So there's definitely been some, you know, curious Georges out there wondering what's going on at 𝙂𝙀 that's got everyone leaving. What's this exodus from 𝙂𝙀 all about? Fun fact, 𝙂𝙚 is actually with us at Cheeky now. We're not like a VTuber agency. That's not what I'm trying to get across. Our soap. She really likes our soap, Cheeky soap.
All right.
So she's partnered with us at Cheeky, and she is an absolute sweetheart. That's what I was trying to get across. The point is, some like really good people have been leaving 𝙂𝙀, and now Ironmouse have dropped this video about some very alleged scummy practices here at the 𝙂𝙀 corporate level, and I don't know how 𝙂𝙀 recovers from it going forward. They haven't made a statement yet. It's still a little too fresh as of me making this video. I'm very curious what they're going to say about it. If I had to spitball, I would imagine that their next play will be donating that money to the charitable foundation. I imagine they donate the $515K to the Immune Deficiency Foundation or whatever the exact number was. I bet they'll do that to desperately try and save face. I don't think the community will respond well to it because it's very clear that they're just doing it now because of the public pressure that's being exerted on them. I don't know how they move forward with a good reputation. I don't think all of their talent's going to leave overnight. I imagine a lot of those contracts, in fact, I'm confident a lot of those contracts lock them down for quite a while with like some non-disparagement clauses in there and everything. Like I bet there is a lot of things at play where the talent won't be able to leave even if they really want to. And I can only hope that the community here doesn't start attacking the 𝙂𝙀 talent for staying, because I imagine in a lot of cases they don't have a choice. Now, that's kind of the situation in a nutshell, but I want to dive deeper into agencies as a whole. I've kind of teased it a little bit throughout the video. And I know people like to talk about VTubing as a whole, like it's some kind of niche that's not mainstream. That couldn't be further from the truth. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is so lucrative. And these agencies have swooped in and made sure they are the ones getting the lion's share of that money, and they'll kind of trickle down, drip feed a little milk from their titties to the talent that's under their umbrella. And what's even more disgusting is they fed people shit and gave them a taste for it, an acquired palate, normalizing their greed, where the talent, the ones that are actually gathering the audience, you know, the actual VTubers, they don't see most of the money that they bring in. the agency does. That includes merch. That includes their Twitch subs. That includes YouTube revenue. Pretty much any piece of the pie that has dollars, doubloons in it, the agency is the one that's got their fingers in it, and the VTuber gets pieces of it, tiddlywinks. And I think it is so ass backwards. It has always rubbed me the wrong way, so I've always talked very negatively about VTuber agencies, much to the chagrin of the VTuber audience. The audience that watches VTubers is very loyal to their favorite creators in the space. So they get very upset when the 5'6" Florida man Neanderthal shoots spitballs at the agency that represents their favorite VTuber, because the community, like the relationship between the agency and the VTuber, is one that's supposed to be built on like a tight connection, like this partnership, almost like a family. But nothing could be further from the truth. It's about as much of a family as like the prison warden is to the prisoners. I just think it is completely unacceptable the way a lot of these agencies treat their talent. I also think a lot of people have been completely misled by them on the industry as a whole, where they act like there's only one path to success when it comes to VTubing. Or at least they did, not so much these days. It's starting to kind of get a little more clear that you don't have to sign with them, but for the longest time, it was as if there was only one path to success in the space, which was signing with an agency, where they basically give you a career. They grow you through their network. They give you all the tools to grow, but they basically own you. And I know the argument a lot of people make is, well, they gave you your career. You do owe them like 90% of the money that you generate. That makes sense. Without them, you were nothing. And I just think that is completely delusional. I think you've been brainwashed to think that. It's a little different nowadays, where so many people are doing really well independent. There are so many independent VTubers that are crushing it, and a lot of formally contracted talent for agencies have left to be indie and are still doing really well. So it's being proven that you don't need these agencies to succeed as a VTuber. And I understand, like, you know, they do help speed up the growth of the career, because then they just plug and play to like their network and just have eyes on you by default. But from everything I've seen, it just never really seems worth the trade-off. Like, you never get a better deal. So like, let's say you start with them and then you explode and become the biggest VTuber in the world. All the ones I've seen, the contracts don't scale with that success, so you still are locked into a bad deal. And now the agency just makes a killing off of your success, and you kind of stay in the same spot, more or less. Like, it just doesn't ever really feel worth it to do that when you can still be very successful without these agencies. And it just sucks to see that it is still so common that these agencies are greedy scumbags, like in this case here with 𝙂𝙀, apparently. But anyway, I just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's about it. So yeah.
All right. Yep. All right. And alrighty. All right. let's just say that 𝙂𝙀 is gonna learn real quick that the IRS does not take too kindly to tax fraud. So essentially, doing what they did, they essentially shot themselves in the foot either way. You know, they have some members from I think Iris is Canadian, right? I don't know. Regardless, they essentially just shot themselves in the foot by doing that. Alright, let's see. If I do this. Alright. Alright, and alright. Alright. No, correct. Ooh. Real quick.
Hey friends, hey Poogies, today I want to do something very special. You probably saw it from the title and from the thumbnail. It's not something I usually do, but maybe we'll do it more in the future. So, if you like my content, you probably like content from other trans creators as well. Guess what? There's not only one German VTuber trans creator, there are at least two! Because today we are gonna react to a video from 𝙂𝙗 TV? VT. You know what? 𝙂𝙗 is another trans woman in Germany who is doing content as a VTuber here on freaking YouTube and I think on Twitch as well. I watched the first like 40 seconds of a video, and we'll go over there in a second, but then I stopped and was like, there's probably going to be like a nice video in here. And some of you already watched Nyara. You basically told me in the comments, you were like, oh my god, I found a second German trans VTuber, that's crazy. And so yeah, I do want to do that video to basically push some positivity her way. So let us hop over to the browser version and do the video. So who is Nyara? You can see right here, Nyara VT. Basically, she has the green name, which is because of like Shinigami Gobblegobbles or something. If you use that app, rate my channel positive as well. What are you doing? I want a green YouTube name as well. The extension is, I think it's called Shinigami Eyes, and it basically shows trans positive people as like green. And this does not only work for YouTube, it also works for like websites and stuff. And websites or people that have proven to be like trans.
Should go ice. Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick.
Websites and stuff, and websites or people only work for YouTube. It also shows trans positive. Extension is, I think it's called Shinigami Eyes.
Chili gummy. Okay.
And it basically shows trans positive people as like green, and this does not only work for YouTube, it also works for like websites and stuff. And websites or people that have proven to be like transphobic, it shows them as red, right? Like for example, I can very quickly show you, if we go to YouTube right here, let's say Asmongold, he should show up as red, right? So yeah, so example, Asmongold would show up as red, but then if we
Okay, I'm probably not gonna. At first I thought that was gonna be base. I was gonna install it, but like, oh, okay. I like her as well as Asmongold. What does it say for mood? Is mood? Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I show up as red, that's gonna be base because red is actually my theme, so that'll be fitting.
go over to Fairy Princess Lucy, she shows up at the screen, but obviously this only works if users report those channels as either positive or negative. So how about you rate my thing positive? Because if we go to Sharon, and yes, I have like a lot of, look, it's no color right now. I want to be green. I want to be green.
Honestly, it really doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay, let's hop over here. So who's Nyara? She's been doing content for a while. Oh my god, 700 videos. There's a lot. There's like a lot of links you can go to. You obviously, I'm gonna link her channel down below, and you can decide to go there as well and do things as well. And you see here Germany, and swears by that she's not a cat. I will do that. You know what? Cat. Anyway, today I do wanna look at this video right here. I saw that, and basically the reality of being a trans creator, I was like, that's interesting. I want to watch that because, you know what? I am a trans creator. What's my reality? Wait, the video needs to be like pushed over a little bit here. And I watched like the first 40 seconds of this video, and then I decided maybe it would be like nice to watch it together and give some commentary and like my experiences as well, right? So let's start.
You're struggling with the trend in the VTuber community is basically to use me as a punching bag in order to get picked up by the worst types of people. I only fought you because 𝙂𝙚 was crying about you, and if he hates you, then you must be good. It's hit or miss. But now that he's no longer talking about me, my views are basically just going back where they used to be. It's just drama is getting like favored so much more. And the bigger the creator is who's beefing with me, the more views I get. Which is kind of a bad trend, because that is not actually what I want my content to be about. I don't just want to continuously do drama. This platform thrives off drama though. I mean, that's any social media platform. It's just because like the reactionary things and like the beef, like everybody's like so hungry for drama. I'm so tired of drama, but the algorithms aren't. Yeah, I mean, just look at like Pirate Software stuff. Pirate Software responded to the Stop Killing Game campaign, surpassing 1 million signatures. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything that you asked for, but nothing you wanted, and I leave it there. I replied with, why does this guy always sound like the most insufferable cartoon villain out there? It got 1.2 million views, and I had like some transphobic people respond and like reply to me with like, bro can't even break 200 views. That's insane. Oh my god, Gremlo, why are you doing this to me? Why is stuff not getting thrown at me? Hello? Why is this broken? What's happening? Thank you for the follows. We're yapping about stuff. I want to talk about like bottom surgery stuff. I had it 1 year ago, but right now I'm talking about like how the YouTube algorithm and so on favors drama content so much. And now that like 𝙂𝙗𝙣𝙚𝙧𝙖𝙩, Tecton and so on isn't beefing with me, you can see it with my views basically going back to where I used to be, right? And it kind of sucks, because it kind of creates this system where you constantly have to involve yourself in drama, and you can't just talk about topics that are important. Everything has to basically come from the sense of like drama. And the bigger the creator is that is in my thumbnail, you know, the amount of creators in my thumbnail, the better my video does. I was also mentioning how like, especially VTubers are like viewing me as like some punching bag. It's just like a lucrative thing to like start going after me in order to get picked up by the right-wing crowd who are like obsessed with me. Because anyone who goes against me is like their friend and needs to be like supported. I would not want you to be in the center of another storm of drama. I feel like I have to. Like, if I want to get my content out there, I feel like I have to get used to literally just being the punching bag. And I'm only like successful as a creator. I only get like the views and favored in the algorithm if I'm literally just defending myself. That is like my destiny as a trans creator who's like vocal about like trans issues. Like, a lot of the people who subscribe to my channel are not actually interested in other videos, like in the videos in general where I do not talk about drama. Yeah, you will grow on your own. You don't need to be a punching bag. I don't know. Like, I just don't want to like continuously do drama, because it basically makes me codependent on awful creators, and me basically having to like regurgitate the same talking points over and over again because I already dismantled their arguments and they are not going to engage with my arguments in general. But it's just like incredibly frustrating to like all the time post a video because like the YouTube studio is like telling you that like, oh, compared to the last 10 uploads that you had, this one performs the worst. You're just being bullied by like the platforms, by like the analytics and stuff. And it's so difficult as a content creator to like not look at that. There will always be a punching bag in the sense that she is a bottom. Wow. I do have a new schedule for this month. Next week, I'm actually being on hiatus, but I will still be posting new videos, so exclamation mark YouTube. And if you're like interested, I'm actually like trying to like talk about the struggles of men. I'm trying to like teach men that I'm not actually, just because I'm a feminist, a misandrist or something. And I'm like trying to be more empathetic and sympathetic towards men. So I made like this video how men become incels, how young men fall down the right-wing pipeline. Being a man sucks. The reason why society neglects men. Giving a different perspective as a trans woman who was socialized as a man. I do believe that there are like some things that are kind of brushed under the rug and not being talked about when it comes to like being a man, and everything is like brushed off with oh, you still have male privilege, oh, this group has it worse, which is also something that I experienced as like a white trans woman, because there are always like some groups who are struggling more. The problem that I see is when men talk about their issues and expect women to fix it. It's like, oh, I'm unhappy because I don't have a girlfriend. I'm unhappy because dating apps are a problem. I'm unhappy because women's standards are too high. Can you not just, I don't know, be happy on your own and then find a partner? Because like it's incredibly difficult to find a partner when you expect them to fix your issues. But this is something that the manosphere is never going to teach. The manosphere is going to teach you that no, it's feminism, and actually women shouldn't have a career because then they are not dependent on men, and that is why you can't start a family because women are independent. This is also like something that women are being taught. It's like, oh, you are depressed. Oh, you have struggles. You just need to be pregnant. You just need to start a family.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in pain. It's because you need to be pregnant. Your body wants you to be pregnant. Like things like that. It's never about like you're unhappy, you're struggling. Do you have like supportive friends? Do people reach out to you? Do people hang out with you, or do they always want something from you? My mom told me yesterday my antidepressants make me trans. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And my vaccines make me left-handed.
Yeah, and we're not having any copyright stuff like that. Anywho. Alrighty, let me just a bit little too. Alright. Alright, Alright, I'm gonna have to end off today's stream here. It's a pretty successful stream. Learning quite a bit about not only background characters but also posing as well. Honestly, I do struggle with posing a lot. Not even posing, even with proportions as well with that. I use references just because it just helps. It just helps me. At the same time, I get this nagging feeling. Why are you using references? You're just copying. You're plagiarizing this person. You're copying. Blah blah blah. Like, I'm still trying to remember myself. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Anywho. That being said, thank you everyone for joining today's stream. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching today's YouTube VOD. With that being said, I hope you all have a good rest of the day, evening, night, or time zone. Make sure you have something to eat, and make sure you're hydrating with Blitzies. that being said, I can get and be relaxing for the rest of the night, and hopefully I get some inspiration for any future projects. Anyway, with that being said, gotta get going, let's see. So bye bye, matinee.